Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So I think Solana has now reached that next target I indicated in my video yesterday. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Basically around 2850, 2860 was that next target we discussed yesterday. So we want to look at where we are. Does it look like Solana has topped? I can tell you so far not, which is why we're just tracking bullish support, which I gave you yesterday and explained to you against this support level, which was, I'll talk about that in a minute. We can focus on higher for now because the short-term trend is up. You don't want to fight the trend, very important. And we talk about the different scenarios here in this video. So let's talk about the overall scenario first before we dive into the lower degree wave structures. Overall, you know that Solana is one of the coins that we have been tracking bullish scenarios for a long time now, actually, for good reason, because the structure seems more bullish than what many other coins can offer. For most coins and charts, we are still bearish. However, there have been a handful that already have been showing bullish structures. One of them that we identified and tracked was Solana. Another one was Aave, another one was Rune, and possibly GMX, and possibly Veracity. There might be a handful of others, but most coins haven't really given us enough evidence that they have a chance for something like a third wave rally, whereas Solana actually has, okay? So that's why we've got on the chart here, in the white wave count, which is the more direct bullish count, which is what Solana seems to be following right now, but we're not out of the woods yet, okay? So in this white wave count, the move up here into the January highs was a wave 1. The price came down in a wave 2, and we're now in a third wave rally to the upside. This is the most simple interpretation, and it would be an A, B, C structure in which we are moving now. Then we should get this wave 3 completed. Then we should get a 4 and a 5. Now, with the latest push higher, it's not as simple as that anymore. We might have to make a change here just to reflect that, just to reflect the subdivisions differently. That would not really change the outcome of a third wave rally, yeah, or at least a significant rally, but it would just change when we get a setback. But that doesn't really matter if you just focused here on this time frame, for example, and if you're looking for a third wave rally, and the starting point was down here in our trend reversal area back in September. So this is one scenario. In this scenario, we would be looking for a C wave to the upside and a 5 wave rally in wave C. Okay. But it would now be time for Solana to come down. And if Solana doesn't, then the subdivisions are different. Then we would need to track it slightly differently. Let me just, yeah, okay. So how would that work? Well, it would actually not necessarily be a more bullish structure. It would raise some more questions. In the other bullish scenario, which I'm tracking sort of in the background, I'm not showing it because I don't want to confuse you, but we can talk about it because I think it's time to prepare you, just in case, so that, if you are interested in the shorter time frame wave counts, then you are at least informed. So in this other scenario, this here was an A wave. This move down was a B wave, and that is actually quite bearish potentially. And the move up is a C wave. Okay, at least it has some bearish potential, so that we get only a 3 wave rally, which could lead to another low afterwards, funny enough. But then the subdivisions would be different, and we could say that this move up was actually a wave 1, but a wave 1 of a diagonal structure. Okay, then we get a wave 2 here. Then we are now in a third wave, which would, so 1, 2, 3, then a 4 and a 5. Okay, and this would actually, the wave 3 would unfold as an A, B, C structure, and this A wave could potentially stretch a little higher. If this move up here is an A wave instead of white wave 1, the subdivisions are more messy because we are dealing then with potentially a corrective structure. So that's just something I have to highlight to you, which, because a lot of people ask me, do you not think this is, this is a 1-2-1-2 setup? And I don't think so. I don't think so for various reasons. However, what it could be is that this move up is an A wave, and A waves can be 3-wave structures, and then it makes sense, because then this would be A, B, C in A of A. This would be wave B of A, and then it makes sense that this was slightly deeper than ideal, and the move up would be a C wave, okay, which could still stretch out a little further, which is not super bullish, but it just means that we're dealing with less predictable corrective structures here. And then it also makes sense to look at this current extension, which has surpassed the 1-to-1 ratio, but $33 would be the 1.618 extension as potentially next level to watch. So I want to suggest that as the next level to watch, should we push higher, $33. It's not only the 1.618 extension, it's also here the previous high that was made in July. But all of that doesn't really matter unless you really want to go overly academic here. It doesn't matter from a practical side of trading, okay? Because we are in a short-term uptrend. We have the levels to watch anyway. I gave you the $29 level yesterday to watch as next resistance level. And I also suggested to you the next target in this structure to the upside, as long as, first of all, we hold above the trend line, and as long as we're holding above the wave 4 low, okay? So the next level to watch was, and we took the length of the third, and then we look at Fibonacci extensions, and we talked about the 1.618 extension as likely next target at $28.50. That's exactly where we are now, so it's time to do the next video to inform you about possibly the next levels to watch. And the support levels are still the same. I mean, we can focus on higher as long as they hold. However, what we can introduce is a very early signal that the trend might be shifting to the downside. So again, quick reminder, you don't want to fight the trend. You don't want to fight the trend is up. Okay, Solana has not broken the uptrend. That's why we just track bullish support, and you can use that for trend continuation. And that's the 50% FIB level and $26. If we get a sustained break below $26, it is a first indication that things might be changing here. But it's not confirmation yet, but it's a first indication, because I know a lot of people are waiting now for the pullback, whereas I would argue if you, for example, entered down here in this trend reversal area, you want to stay in the trade as long as you can, just tracking that bullish support basically, right? Or if you jumped in along the way, which you can always do, just be aware, just be very mindful that we're now very much overextended, and we're approaching the 78.6 FIB level at $29.10. A break above that level would make this yellow wave count, which points more directly to the downside, less likely, but it will only be invalidated, this yellow count, above the $32.30 level, which is this swing high that was made in July. So these are the two main scenarios I'm watching at the moment. It doesn't matter so much, is it the white count or the yellow one, or is it a different subdivision of the white one, because the trend is clearly up, and I gave you very clearly the levels to watch for trend continuation, as well as the next targets to the upside. If $29.10 breaks, then we should be watching this area up here around the $33 level, $32.50 to $33 with the next, which is the next extension level. And I mean, nobody can say when this will top. All we can highlight are the next levels to watch, track bullish support. You don't want to fight a rally in crypto. We all know that when cryptos turn around, they can rally longer than you would initially think. That's why we simply try to track bullish support when rally starts, okay? And what else to highlight? Yeah, and as I said, when we have a top in place, then it will probably take weeks of correction again, like here, and then I can indicate the next support, but don't expect it to come down in a few days. So it will again take probably weeks, okay? That's how crypto works. So they go quickly, and then they come back in corrections which take very long, and then only really when we have a confirmed top in place, I can indicate, let's say, the next support for the deeper pullback, but I've already given you support levels for more direct trend continuation, which is always a challenge because crypto moves so quickly, but we all know that we are in this space, together. Okay, that's my update about Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.